You want to impact people? Yeah, I mean, you could do that this month if you do it right. You could do that this month. That's how I'm looking at it now. The mastery piece is just you bring your lunchbox and you bring your clothes and you bring a change of clothes and you are in this for the long run if you want to get really good at something.
Money is the gas in the tank towards your dreams, and I don't think a lot of people get that. The purpose of the company is to benefit humanity. Money is required to consistently grow toward that ultimate infinite gain.
Next Level Nation, welcome back to another episode of Next Level University, where we help you level up your life, your love, your health, and your wealth. Today, for episode number 1855, my goodness, this one shift can change a ton. I know I mentioned how I'm an author, world-class author, best-selling author multiple times, maybe the best on this planet has ever seen in the previous episode. Totally kidding about all that. But in chapter 1, I think, I was writing about something we're going to talk about today. I'm all over the place today.
I think. In chapter 1 of 1.
No, because I'm weird where it's like I have kind of pieces of chapters. It's a whole thing.
I'm messing with you.
We were talking about, in the book, I was talking about the 3 reasons podcasts fail. And one of them was a misaligned time perspective. And This is the example that I kind of used. And I use this on a podcast today. I understand you're 52 episodes into the podcast, but that does not mean you're that good as a podcaster. I'm not saying you're not, but if the average one of those episodes was an hour, you've done 52 hours of podcasting. That is a work week with overtime. That's a 52-hour work week. I'm not saying that's not good. But imagine going to a job, working 52 hours, and then wondering why you weren't paid the most in the company. Not going to happen. No, it doesn't work that way.
Great
if you
metaphor.
did, I appreciate that very much. If you did 52 workouts over the course of 2 months, crushed it. You crushed it. You took 8 days off over the course of those 2 months. Awesome. If you did 52 workouts over the course of a year, probably not going to have that many results. Good, still a good habit. Awesome. You're working out once a week. Amazing. But you're most likely not going to have your dream physique with that. There's something about time perspective. There's something about input to output. And that's kind of what we're going to talk about today. Just because, man, when you do something for a year, some things, it's like, I can't believe you did that for a year. How did you do that for Alan's exercise every day for a year? That's awesome. That's 365 workouts. That's world class. There's other stuff that you posted once a day on social media for a year. In the grand scheme of things, everybody's kind of doing that. So it doesn't put you as far ahead as something else might. And I have a quote. I don't know where it is. There's this quote that I used to say that I thought was wisdomatic. When I said it the first time, I was like, that's some, my goodness. That's going to end up in a philosophy book.
Wisdomatic.
What do you think of that?
It's funny.
Out of 10, what would you give it? If you had to.
Wisdomatic?
Yeah, not for funniness, but for really makes you think.
0.
A 0 out of 10. Not great. One of the quotes I used to say was, life is far too short to be hesitant, but far too long to be miserable. That makes sense? Mm-hmm. That's kind of
You're going to have to explain it to the listeners, though, because I've heard you say it. So you've explained it to me behind the scenes many times.
I think it's just it's a case of perspective. If you love what you do every day, life is too short. It's too short. If you love the life, if you have an amazing partner, if you're living a fulfilling life, you don't want life to end. Your life could not be long enough. If you hate your existence and your job sucks and you feel like it's not going to get any better and that you feel like you're holding your breath every day, life is very, very, very long. It's a very, very, very long experience because it's what you're doing is unsustainable. So that's kind of what that means. Does it have anything to do with this? I don't know, but I felt called.
Well, I was on with a team member earlier, and we talked about time perspective. I said, we were talking about, uses of your time, effort, money. Your only 3 resources: time, effort, money. And in group coaching, I do this as well in one of the sessions. So if you're in group 16, spoiler alert, but one of the sessions is about time perspective. That's one of the parts of it. Although this group will be a little different because it's all podcasters. But anyways, so I talked about 36,500, which is if you live to 100 years old, you get 36,500 days. And if you had $36,500 in a bank account and you could never make another dollar, how carefully would you spend that money? I feel like that's a really good frame, because I regret pre-26 wasting a ton of time on persons, places, things, and ideas that were not aligned. I do. I regret it. I had mortality, moment, car accident, father passed away in a car accident. It was a visceral experience. And fortunately, I was physically okay with no permanent damage, but mentally, emotionally, and spiritually, I was completely messed up, and I had PTSD for sure, claustrophobia, all kinds of stuff I had to work through. But ultimately, it was my mortality moment of I'm never going to waste my time again. I'm going to try my best to do all I can with the time I have. And so time perspective, it depends on the thing. And where I always go with this is everything is accumulating. So Emilia just turned 30. She's Emilia 3.0. And I always playfully joke on our podcast, the Conscious Couples podcast. I know a lot of people listen to both, so thank you. And on the podcast, I always joke and I say, an iPhone 14 should never date an iPhone 2. And I think it's a good metaphor because an iPhone 14 is going to make an iPhone 2 feel inadequate, and the iPhone 2 is going to really struggle with that. And so Emilia and I are peers. And I say that Alan 3.0, me at 30, never could have been with Emilia now. Emilia is far more physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually developed, far more competent, far more capable, far more intelligent, far better time perspective. She's accumulated more experience, reflection, wisdom, knowledge than I did at 30. And women, I do think statistically, are more mature than men as well. And I'm saying that from I coach a lot of people. So many leather-bound books. But ultimately, time perspective, everything's an accumulation. So we felt like, Kev, you and I, when we were in corporate, we quit. You started a podcast. I started a YouTube channel, also a podcast. I think it was going to be a podcast. You were my first guest. I was your first guest. We teamed up. Awesome. Go us. Congratulations. Here we are. 10 years ago, I started mentoring people. I mentored people for free for 2 to 3 years, started coaching people, started coaching for free. And then here we are 7 years later. And one of the things that I've found very fascinating is people feel like they're starting over. And you are in some ways when it comes to rebranding yourself. We talked in the last episode about perception versus reality, your reputation versus your character, your social, what people think of you socially versus who you really are. So in some ways we did start over. We had to rebrand ourselves. We had to start a company. We had to rebrand Hyperconscious Podcast into Next Level University. And we lost a lot of momentum when we did that because the brand is important. However, we're not starting from scratch. And so time perspective, everything's an accumulation. What I would ask our listeners is, what is your time perspective? Are you thinking short term? Are you thinking midterm? Are you thinking long term? What are those? So I would say short term is this day, this week, this month. I would say mid-range would be this quarter, this year. And then long term would be years and decades. And if you're a really long-term thinker, like Emilia, you think beyond that. Legacy is about thinking about your impact far beyond your own life. And Emilia and I both are big on legacy. We always have been. And that's one of the reasons why we get along so well, is because most of what I do in a day-to-day seems really unintelligent. But long-term, it actually makes a lot of sense, and vice versa. So we feel very seen and valued by each other because we have the same time perspective. So a couple little things there. Number one, what is your time perspective? Number two, your closest friends and family, if they have a different time perspective, they might not see you, appreciate you, hear you, understand you, and that might be wildly detrimental to your goals and dreams, because it certainly was for me.
Mastery, impact, and profitability, that framework, that understanding is something that has helped a ton, because Alan was always is currently. I'm way more than I was, but not to the degree you are. Very mastery driven. Want to get really good. When you do something, you do something. Sometimes to a detriment.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
You go all, when you go in, you go all in. There is no. It's like I am that guy. Oh, you're. What would be a good example of that? Your fitness model. Yeah, no, I'm a fitness model, and then you do 30 photo shoots. Like yeah. No,
41,
I'm not a fitness.
sir.
How much is it?
41.
41. Then when you're not a fitness model, you don't take any pictures at all. It's like no, now I'm not a fitness model at all. I don't do that at all. I didn't. It's very hard to get the impact and the profitability without the mastery. And the mastery is the thing that takes so long in the beginning. That's why eventually somebody steps on stage with a guitar and they blow your socks off, but that's because they've been mastering the craft for years and years and years and years. Somebody asked me today about that. They said, what was the journey like? And like, how did you guys get here? And I said, honestly, we just tried to get good. The reason I'm on your podcast, I don't care how many listens you have. I don't care how many episodes. I don't care. I could care less. I'm trying to get really good at this. And the best way to do it is just to do more episodes than anybody else. And that's kind of the thing. That's the mastery. Many of the results we have today are from that, but also many that you can't connect to that. Because you're good at blank, you get X opportunity, but you don't know that. Because maybe it hasn't even paid off yet. It's hard to connect the dots back to what really mattered. But when I'm thinking of time perspective, if you were to put them into buckets, how long have you been doing the thing and focused on doing it well? 6 months? Early. How long have you been doing it with the intention of impacting other people? 6 months? Longer. I look at that as longer. How long have you been doing...
Hold on.
Yeah. I was waiting. You went with it, so I thought we were there together. We're not there together. I left the station
It's called
alone.
tracking. You and I don't talk about. We have a client, Emilia and I coach a couple, and they say, I'm tracking. Meaning we're on the same page. I'm tracking.
We're not on the same. We're not tracking.
No,
not.
I'm not tracking at all. That's not longer. That's the exact amount of time. The same
It
amount of
is the exact amount of time in a different context. So from a mastery perspective, 6 months is not a long time.
Yeah, for sure.
From I'm trying to impact other people, I think 6 months is actually longer. Sit with it. I know, I'm losing credibility by the moment. I'm going to keep doing it. This is what I do. This is hyperconscious. From I've been doing this for 6 months and I haven't made any money. Welcome to the world. Of course you haven't made any money in 6 months.
Yeah, it's shorter. I see what you're saying.
You know what I mean? You can impact someone right now. You want to start... You're tracking. You want to start something from a place of impact? Congratulations. You can literally check the box when you get your first listen on a podcast. Awesome. I started this for impact. I had results immediately.
You started it for money, we would have been in some
we would have
serious
been
trouble.
dead. But I tell people that all the time. I didn't start this to make money. I didn't know you could. I started this for impact, and I got results immediately. Not great results, but if 4 people listened, that was impact.
That
was
our
it less?
first. We had 4 people listening in the beginning, yeah. Remember?
Yeah. Did I want more than that? Yes. But I still got that met. So yeah, it's like, oh, you expect to be the best at this? You got to do it for 10 years to start.
Hello, NLU listener. Thank you, as always, for listening to Next Level University. Real quick, I just want to jump in and let you know about the Next Level Dreamliner. This is a journal that I use every single day. Achieve your dreams 90 days at a time. It breaks down your dreams into goals, milestones, and daily habits. We hope you enjoy it. The link will be in the show notes.
Oh, you want to make money doing this? It's going to take you... You're in it for years. You want to impact people? Yeah, I mean, you could do that this month. If you do it right, you could do that this month. That's how I'm looking at it now. The mastery piece is just you bring your lunchbox and you bring your clothes and you bring a change of clothes and you are in this for the long run. If you want to get really good at something.
As you would say, I got to
Are you going to F me up with the truth here?
I'm going to. Ready?
Well, let's do it. Yeah, I'm ready.
Impact, 4 listens, you're winning already.
Winning.
Mastery, 0 listens, you're still good.
Ooh.
That's why I chose to go all in on podcasting.
Now
I was sick and tired.
Hold on. Slow down. I know you're sick and tired of being sick and tired, but slow down. I need to catch up.
That's not where
I'm
I was
not
going.
tracking. I know, but I'm not tracking. It's from Dumb and Dumber, I think. I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired. Is that what he says?
I have no idea.
It's a
You
great
and I were
movie.
going to watch that in Pittsburgh, and we never did. We watched Liar, Liar.
Dumb and Dumber. Interesting. Liar, Liar, Dumb and Dumber. Interesting. Great movie.
Liar, Liar? Phenomenal.
Yeah, but Dumb and Dumber is better.
I don't know how I feel about it yet. It's
It's
been a long time for me.
it's so funny. They do such a good job. Oh my god, they do such a good job. They butchered it. They made like 2 remakes.
If we ever travel again together,
Never gonna happen. Most likely. Doesn't
never
seem-
gonna happen. Most
I don't think I'm tracking on that. Okay, go.
We'll watch that.
Yeah, no, you were. I
We'll
interrupted
We'll
you.
eat some pizza. You
Yeah,
and I.
for sure.
We'll
For
watch Dumb and Dumber.
Yeah.
That's it. That's all I have.
No, I interrupted you.
Yeah, I know.
Okay,
I'm
okay,
joking.
okay. Is there a lag?
Mastery,
between us?
mastery, impact, and profitability, time
think-
perspective.
yeah,
Tie
I
it
think
on
you-
a bow.
I think your internet is Jeff, and I think that's why
How dare you? My
It's-
internet's great.
your internet is atrocious.
It's not that bad.
It's
been
not that
okay on
good.
this one.
Okay.
Okay.
Look. This is how you know somebody doesn't believe what they're saying when he says, "No, man, it's been great. It's been okay on this one." Okay, sir. Sell it, will you?
All right. So mastery, impact, profitability, time perspective.
Yes.
Here we go. Mastery, you can start right now. And you can start winning right now. Because in mastery, showing up and doing a podcast episode, regardless of anyone listening, you can master your craft. Impact, you can start winning the moment you publish it and you get 1 view or 1 listen. Profitability is the harder one. It takes what I said earlier of people have to trust you, trust your brand, trust your product or service. And I think that a lot of people are trying to manufacture trust. Mastery, impact, profitability. Kevin and I were at a business event once, and the very first slide was business is about making money. And I was so upset because I knew we were in trouble. Because business has to make money, but that's not the purpose of a business. The purpose of Next Level University is to help people grow themselves, grow their podcast, and grow their business. That's the purpose. We have to make money doing that. Otherwise, we will all not be able to grow.
Perish.
We won't be able to afford the internet. That's apparently terrible. We won't be able to afford the iPhone that we need to connect with people. We won't be able to afford these cameras or these microphones or team. So we have to make money, but that's not the point. Money is the gas in the tank towards your dreams. And I don't think a lot of people get that. The purpose of the company is to benefit humanity. Money is required to consistently grow toward that ultimate infinite game. And again, no one studies game theory because they're not esoteric weirdos like me. But anyways, mastery, impact, profitability, time perspective. Everyone out there ask themselves, which one are you focused on most, mastery, impact, or profitability? And then the second question is, are you short, mid, or long range thinker? Because that's going to really help you understand where you're at so that you can pivot or adjust necessarily, because you might be playing a losing game.
Quick question before we get out of here. 60-second answer. If you go a minute over, I'm going to come down there and break your kneecaps. Okay? 60 seconds.
Yeah.
Not 61, not 6. It's got to be 60 seconds on the button.
Let's do it.
You ready?
Hold on. Let me set a timer.
It's going to take me probably 8 minutes to ask the question, so you have plenty of time here.
Ready? All right. Tell me when.
No, I got to ask you the question first.
All right. As soon as you finish the question, I'll hit the timer.
Tell me when. I don't know how long the question's going to be. You set yourself up for failure. All right. You've studied a lot of people. You taught me mastery, impact, profitability. I was profitability first. You helped me realize you can't really be profitability until you're mastery and impact. Those are required for profitability. How does somebody combat the weakness that comes with the focus that they have? That's the question.
You have to first understand which one's your strong one, which one's your weak one, and which one's your decent one.
Okay.
So my strong one is mastery. My decent one is impact. My weak one was profitability. You said I would be the best speaker you've ever seen under a bridge and no one would care and you'd be living in a shoebox. You were being playful, but I was on my way to that for a short time. I still have 40 seconds. what you do is you figure out which one's your strong one, which one's your weak one, which one's your decent one, and then you track metrics of the one that you're not. So I have a mastery effective communication score that I track. It's 25 impact points of effective communication. What I need to be tracking is finances because that's not natural for me. Kevin was tracking finances. What he needs to be tracking is mastery. 12 seconds to spare.
What is the weakness of impact?
You'll be a martyr, and you will try to help others at the expense of yourself too much. And if a tree doesn't get fed back, so the leaves fall from the tree and that feeds the soil, and then the soil and the rain feeds the tree. If you are constantly serving at the expense of yourself, your tree will die.
Strong work.
Thanks, brother.
Strong work. I dig it.
Real quick, before we go, I know we got to jump.
Wait. Is this part of the answer?
No.
Okay.
Before we go, you shared earlier that you say to other podcasters, I don't care if you have 50 episodes or 500, 50 listeners or 500, I'm here to get better and impact people. What matters to Kevin and I is the guest, the host.
Yeah, for sure.
What matters to us is the host. Is this a podcast that we believe is good for the world? Is this host good for the world? Or is it all just ego and hoodwinking? We don't want to help anyone hoodwink anybody. Okay, when I go on podcasts, I always say this. I say I'm here for two reasons. I want to be very upfront and transparent. Number one, I'm here to serve. I want self-improvement to spread. I'm here to help spread self-improvement, personal growth, mental health, awareness. I want to help people succeed and be fulfilled. Awesome. The second thing is I'm here to practice my craft. When you ask me a question I've never been asked before, I get an opportunity to learn how to articulate something better. That's why when Kevin and I listen to old content, we think it's hot garbage. It's not because we were terrible. We just aren't as good. It's like the iPhone 1 versus the iPhone 14. It's not even close. So the Kevin 3.5 and the Allen 3.6 is infinitely or exponentially more effective at communication than when we first started. The first episode was pretty terrible in comparison. But if you compare to other first episodes, maybe it was decent.
There's a hashtag time perspective. I won't help people that I don't like the way their impact is focused. If they're focused on impacting negatively, I won't help. I'm not interested.
Same.
I don't want to. I don't want your money.
You can tell when they're trying to pull the wool over people's eyes.
Yeah, I don't want to do it. I had a call with somebody recently, and I will not be following up with this person. I don't care. I don't want your money. I don't want to work with you. I don't like you. You're not my type of person. You don't fit in with what we're doing here. You don't fit in.
And that's the mission underneath mastery, impact, and profitability, which is the purpose, the mission. And if they're not aligned with the mission, I never said this, but I got asked to consult with a wine company, and I said, it's nothing against you. I'm not against anyone who drinks wine. I just am not going to help you grow a company that produces alcohol, because I personally think alcohol has hurt me a lot in my life, and that's not aligned for me. So I honor you, but cigarette companies I would never work with, that kind of thing. To me, I'm not trying to amplify the impact that's negative in the world.
I concur with that. Also, strong work on I never would have caught this before. So this is a compliment to me as much as it is you. I don't mean it that way, but I'm in a weird mood. My apologies if I sounded arrogant in the past 2 episodes. For some reason, when I'm flying high and I'm like super energetic and jokey, I throw jokes out there that sound more arrogant. You said infinitely, paused, and then said exponentially. That's some next level shit right there.
Thank you, brother.
You're very welcome. Yeah, you're very welcome. I see you.
Thanks, man.
Tracking.
You're tracking.
I'm tracking.
That's a
All
good
right.
one.
We're going to go. Next Level Nation, as always, if you're looking for a group of like-minded individuals who are into growth, into self-improvement, into all that stuff, Alan and I are in there every day. The team's in there every day. Amy posts every single day. It's wonderful. It's a wonderful group of humans. I promise I'm not as arrogant in there as I have been on the past 2 episodes. Double pinky promise. We'll have the link in the show notes. It's called Next Level Nation, and it is a community that we aspire to have when we started this journey, and that's why it is the way it is today.
We have a new listener who
Nice.
I am now following on Instagram. Rose, what's happening? Hello. And if anyone wants to reach out on Instagram, Kevin is @NeverQuitKid, spelt just like it sounds.
Yes.
There it is.
There
His
it is.
tattoo he's showing.
Never
I am
quit.
at alazarus88, ALAZAROS88. The year I was born, 1988.
Very
88.
original.
And please reach out, DM us. Say, hey, what's happening?
Hey, what's happening to all of you out there on social media land? All right. As always, we love you. We appreciate you. Grateful for each and every one of you. And at NLU, we do not have fans. We have family. We will talk to you all tomorrow.
Keep reaching for your potential. Next Level Nation.